Bakugo honestly didn't know how it started. He hadn't realized how much he tensed up from the tease of his friends that were truthfully usual. His friends probably acknowledged that he wasn't the best person to be around, especially when classified specifically as a significant other. Their usual jokes would ring, "You won't ever get to be with anyone with your rough attitude like that." He usually left it to shrug and rebut them with a "I don't need anyone anyway." But that particular day, he was off the rails forever, thinking that he was obligated to be with someone, just to prove to his friends he wasn't such a pussy. That was probably the stupidest thing his intelligent brain ever chose to do. "Bakugo, I swear to God if you keep screaming and become so petty at every mistake." Kirishima was growing irritated at the angry Pomeranian in front of him. He hadn't stayed awake to be scolded because he couldn't solve a simple math equation. Denki and Zero seated next to him must have had the same idea, grumbling in agreement as their patience ran thin. "Ugh, why do we even need to do math? It's not like we're going to go to a store and buy an orange and be like, let's measure its circumference." Maybe you're just dumb, but believe it or not, we kind of need to go through this shit to actually graduate from UA. I'm not that dumb. Sure. Zero rolled his eyes playfully, eyes traveling to Bakugo that looked more annoyed than he was before. "If you all are here to joke around, then get out. I'm doing you a favor. It's either take it or leave it." "Geez, no need to scream so loud, face with rolling eyes. And this is why no one is interested in you, face with rolling eyes. You gotta keep it on the low, just for once. It ain't that hard. You're talking as if you got chicks around you. Shut up. At least I'm still approachable. Look at you getting all mad when the joke's turned around on you. You all agree with me? Bakugo's never gonna date anyone." Kirishima and Zero just nodded in agreement, trying to lower down the frustration they were all slowly creating inside of him. It's either one more insult or he's gonna explode. They both noticed how his eye twitched in exasperation. "No, but for real, Kaminari. If you really think about it, there is one person that stuck with him after everything. I gotta give it to him for being able to handle such, a questionable personality. Watch what you say. Deku's honestly super patient. He doesn't get mad at him at all, or even try to push his buttons. He respected his space and tried to support him from a distance." Bakugo wasn't aware of how the thought had crossed his mind. Rather than embarrassing himself from asking out a girl and getting rejected, wouldn't it be better to save himself from all of that and asked Deku? "No. That's the last thing that's happening. Why the hell are you all shitheads talking about Deku? No, but Baku, you gotta admit. He's super patient around you. Like you can't change my mind. I've always wondered what made you guys separate. You guys make such a good duo if you worked together." The blonde couldn't really get out the words he wanted to say, since first and foremost he wasn't dumb. He had recognized Deku's effort along the way. It was that soft tone of his voice whenever he screamed out, "Kachan." It was cute, but he'd never say that out loud. That was what made him so frustrated. He hated how Deku understood him the most. He remembered a day after he got saved from the League of the Villains. Kirishima had told him how Deku formed the plan to help make an escape route. Bakugo did not know how to take that in, somehow feeling sad because his childhood friend had to admit that Bakugo wouldn't have taken Deku's hand if he was in Kirishima's position. The green-haired boy knew everything about him, and Bakugo at one point understood why he did these things as well. "Baku, you good? Shut up all of you. Go back to studying. Also, I'll prove to you all I'm going to get someone with me. I'll make them head over heels, just you fucking watch." The night went on, where he had to suffer from tossing side to side. He wasn't unable to find the tranquility in facing tomorrow. His blankets seemed to be flinging off his cold feet every time he shifted his limbs a little bit. He mentally scolded himself for thinking such a cruel thing to do, but it wouldn't be that cruel for Deku, right? He shrugged it off, thinking that the green-haired boy wouldn't be able to do anything to him anyway. And even if he did, it wouldn't affect him. Right? One thing that Bakugo didn't set straight in his mind was why he was even doing it in the first place. Was it really worth destroying his trust for his childhood friend just because of a bet? Something to simply satisfy his ego. Was it really worth it for him to go all the way, at the expense of losing someone? Problem is, he was a man of his words. It would be a cowardly thing to do if he backed off all of a sudden. Right? Cowardly. Doing this was easy, Bakugo thought. Since Deku was such a pushover, it would be easy to make him do what he's told to do. The lunch rush was crowded per usual. He caught a glimpse of Izuku laughing at some jokes made by his friends, while slowly munching his favorite meal, katsudon. Bakugo pondered about which timing was preferred when asking someone out. Would it be better for him to attract attention? Or wait out until school ends? Unable to believe he completely forgot his ill intentions of why he had to go through all the trouble for doing this, he snaps back into reality, imprinting the fact inside his mind that it would be better to do it now. Why? His friends would see him asking him out. He weighed out the options again. What if he got rejected? That'd put up a bad reputation for his name. No way, I'm getting rejected? That's bullshit. He swiftly rushed to Izuku's table, tapping at his arm as a gesture to talk. Perplexed to the blonde boy's actions, because Bakugo would always avoid him if he even breathed. This was weird. Kachan? Shut up and follow me. Katsuki's friends seemed to be watching him from afar, Mina along the way asking what he was planning to do. She noted the mischievous grin plastered on Kaminari's face, awaiting for something amusing to happen. That boy is so easy to piss off. I can't believe just a tiny joke provoked him to do such a thing. Kaminari, stop your grin, this is so wrong. At least someone had the common decency to think rationally, this wasn't okay. What did you guys make him do? I never told him to do anything, just for your information, okay? Well, technically you were implying it. Well, why did I see you guys agreeing as well? Cut the fucking chase. What the hell did you say to make him yank on Deku's wrist like that? Denki was just joking around about if Bakugo kept being rough with everyone, he wouldn't be able to have anyone interested in him. This dumbass Kaminari couldn't read the situation, so he just kept annoying him and started talking about Deku. He was quiet for a while. But then Denki made us agree on why he was right. At this point we were nudging at him to stop. But he's so dense sometimes. Why are all of you blaming me? 'Cause you're stupid? What else? I never told him to actually do it. Well, you already know he gets pissed off easily when you mess with his pride. Stop screaming at me. No, the fucking worst part is that he said he'll get someone to mess around with today. Make them fall in love with him basically. And that person just happens to be Deku? What the shit, Denki? Not you blaming me too. Why Deku out of all people? Mina ran her hands through her hair out of pure frustration, not disregarding the fact that the poor boy never deserved this. Deku doesn't deserve this. I fucking know. Fuck no. I feel bad. Well, honestly, it's not your fault. He was never obliged to do something like that. But maybe it is, because you were pushing his buttons too far. Don't be passive-aggressive with me, Kirishima. Take your pick when you say it's my fault or not. I know I'm trying. I'm just frustrated. Shit, if anything bad happens we're gonna be part of the blamed. Don't make me think of things. Can we stop him? If we're fast enough maybe. Where the hell is that angry Pomeranian? Kachan? What's wrong? He couldn't help but grow flustered because of the sudden skinship. It wasn't that he had a problem being so close to him, but it leans more to the side why he chooses to do this. Deku wasn't dense, it's out of the blue for some type of straightforward interaction coming from Katsuki. The spiky blonde had taken him to the park outside, finally releasing the grip between his and Deku's hands. Bakugo noticed how they were calloused like his, but probably just more damaged due to the scars. He breaks his bones often, he reminds himself. They felt warm, still. Without much thinking, Bakugo blurted out. Go on a date with me. Unbeknownst to his three friends hiding behind the bushes wanting to stop him, they heard his blunt words face-palming themselves in vexation. They sighed one more time, before continuing to eavesdrop the conversation. Excuse me, what? You heard what I said. What? I'm not dreaming, right? His shy gaze was averted to something else rather than Bakugo's stern expression, panic written all over his face. Deku observed how everything felt sketchy. No, it didn't feel sketchy. It was sketchy. The hell are you so panicked for? Consideration wasn't Bakugo's forte, though he did try to sound a little bit genuine in this. It wouldn't work unless he played with his charms a little bit. But still, he couldn't just ignore how they've always acted around each other. Play it off, Bakugo, think of something. Did I say date? No fucking shit you did. I meant it as in like, a hangout. Let's hang out. What? God, this was growing even more awkward. I'm not trying to invade your personal space or anything, but why did this come up your mind after everything? I don't know, maybe it's because you were so annoying. Then can I ask why you're asking me to hang out if you perceive me in such a way? 'Cause I'm tired. He blasted off a little bit on this one, tone growing frustrated. Ugh, I just want to make it better for us. I'm getting tired of always having to pick up fights with you. No, but I still don't get the context of why you wanted to ask me out on a date. 'Cause I like you. There, I said it. Dot. He took a moment to try to compute all of those words inside his head, slowly feeling his heart race because of the sudden confession. This wasn't like Bakugo, it was hard to believe, but he was there standing and saying the words. He had to process this. I don't know what to say. Do you not like me? Was that too forward? His friends had sniggered and chuckled how his words just rang loudly with confidence and narcissism. Well, I've never said that. Is that a yes? Mina was trying to cover the gasp in her mouth when she listens to the next few words. God, this felt so awful. She was even more heartbroken because she wasn't able to stop him. Even if her and Deku weren't that close, no one should go through this. Wait. I'm not catching up. How long have you liked me? A while. He raised his eyebrows in confusion. Bakugo didn't seem like much of a liar, doesn't lean to that type of category. Something that threw him off was how he was so confident with it. Surely confessions would probably be deemed as some pride and ego swallower. So why wasn't he so embarrassed about doing this? How are you not blushing? It was kind of dumb how Katsuki hadn't remembered that Deku had a brain, one that just happened to be super analytical. Katsuki tensed up, being unable to hold the eye contact after being interrogated. Do I need to blush? He leaned in closer, attempting to be teasingly intimidating. He felt the bump of Deku's shoulder on his own, whispering quiet words that had the chance to drive him crazy. 3 dates, you get to pick whether you want it or not. If you don't, that's completely up to you, but I doubt you will. I'll make you fall for me, if you haven't, which again I doubt you haven't already. His whispers were like a harsh gush of air blowing inside his eardrums. It seemed to be tickling him. He had always admired Kaken to be this brave, but not to the point where it's questionably be classified as a narcissistic disorder, though that was an understatement for another time. He gulped anxiously as a response, not really knowing what to say because he was still skeptical about things. It didn't hurt to try, right? He barely gave chances, so maybe this was progress. He also felt condemned to their current situation. If he was making an effort to fix it, it would be stupid not to take the chance. One point was at least drilled inside his head. Deku knew what type of person Katsuki was, and Katsuki knew what type of person Deku was. It's hard to not read each other at one point, because they always knew how to bring the best out of each other without really having a proper conversation. People would admire that in special occasions because their relationship was absurd, indescribable with words. Okay. He finally gave in, unsure of where this ride would take him. You never really know what can happen, right? He wanted to make sure he'd never regret the option of not trying.